Mr. Haskins stared at him hard, and this time, there was no anger left, only something tired. Then we find a place it hasn't finished, he said. That night, the horn didn't return. Something else did. A low vibration started under the floor, subtle at first, like a truck idling outside. It increased in waves, then eased, then increased again. The tissue patch by the trophy case seemed to respond. It tightened, almost like it was drawing breath. Mia whispered, "It's like it's awake." Nina put her hand over Mia's without looking up. "Don't think about it like that." But I couldn't stop. The building felt like an animal trying to get comfortable around us. Around what I guess was the middle of the night, the cafeteria doors flexed again. Not a rattle, not a knock. A slow inward bow at the top, like someone outside was leaning with weight. Mr. Haskins sat up instantly, yardstick ready. Tyler shifted to his knees, fists clenched. Nina pulled Mia behind her like her body could be a shield. The doors bowed, held, then relaxed. Silence. Eli murmured, "It's checking." Mr. Haskins didn't tell him to shut up this time. He just listened. And then, from the kitchen, we heard a wet sound. A soft peel, like tape being pulled from paper. Mr. Haskins motioned for me and Tyler to follow. He kept the yardstick between him and everything, like it mattered. We moved into the kitchen with our eyes low. The wall patch had spread across half the cinder block section now. The freezer door handle was partly swallowed, encased in pale, slick tissue that looked stretched thin over metal. It shimmered faintly when the light stripes from the cafeteria windows twitched. Tyler whispered, That's fast." Mr. Haskins' voice came out flat. "It's not waiting for us." Mia made a small noise behind us. I turned my head slightly and saw her pointing without lifting her eyes. There was tissue on her mat, not on the floor across the room. On her mat, near the edge, a pale smear like someone had brushed it there. Her face went blank with fear. Nina whispered, "No, no, no." Mr. Haskins stepped back into the cafeteria and looked around. There were 3 new patches, thin and wet-looking, spreading from corners and seams. One near the trophy case, one near the stage wall, one under the nearest table leg, like it was moving toward us in multiple directions. Mr. Haskins whispered, "We pack now." Tyler's face tightened. "Where are we going?" Mr. Haskins swallowed hard, eyes down, thinking fast. "The library." Nina blinked. "That's 3rd floor." "It has fewer windows," Mr. Haskins said. "It's enclosed. Carpets. Thick doors. We can use shelves as barricades. It's away from the kitchen, away from the cafeteria seams." Eli's quiet laugh returned. "You think it can't climb?" Mr. Haskins' voice hardened again. "I think staying here guarantees we get surrounded by it. I'd rather move while we still have choices." Nobody argued. After Mason and Jaden, arguing felt like wasted oxygen. We packed what we could. Water bottles, food, tape, markers, the butcher paper with the rules, ripped off the wall and rolled tight like a scroll. Mr. Haskins grabbed a first aid kit from a kitchen cabinet. Tyler grabbed a heavy metal baking tray like he wanted something to hit with. Nina kept Mia close, one hand on her elbow like she was guiding a drunk person through a crowd. Mia's eyes kept drifting upward and then snapping down hard, like her brain was fighting itself. Eli moved lightly, calm, like he'd been waiting for this moment. We didn't move through the main cafeteria doors. Mr. Haskins didn't trust them anymore. We went through the kitchen service hall. It was narrow. It smelled like spoiled food and bleach. The walls in there were less glossy. The floor was cooler. For the first time in hours, I felt like the building wasn't pressing its face right against us. We moved fast, shoes quiet as we could manage. Mr. Haskins led, yardstick forward. Tyler stayed behind him, tray ready. I stayed near Nina and Mia because Mia looked like she might fold. We reached a stairwell near the service corridor, a black stairwell I'd barely used in normal life. The door creaked when Mr. Haskins pushed it open, and the sound echoed up and down like a thrown pebble. We froze. Nothing answered. We started up. Second floor. The air changed immediately. Cooler, metallic. That burnt hair smell returned faintly. The hallway outside the stairwell looked longer than it had any right to. The lockers were dented. Some were peeled open like tin cans. A poster about prom hung crooked, the paper soggy at the edges. Tyler whispered, "Why is it wet?" Mr. Haskins didn't answer. We moved. Halfway down the hall, we passed the science wing. The lab door was cracked open. From inside, we heard a soft clicking chorus. Ruler bugs. Mia's breathing sped up. Nina squeezed her elbow hard. "Keep moving," Mr. Haskins whispered. We reached the main stairwell to the third floor. The metal door was warm. Not sun warm, under warm, like heat coming through it. Mr. Haskins hesitated, then pushed. The third floor hallway smelled like old books and dust, and something faintly sweet, like wet cardboard. For a second, it felt almost normal. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. It felt like walking into a room where the music stopped. We reached the library doors, double doors with narrow glass panels. Mr. Haskins didn't go near the glass. He kept his eyes on the floor and the handles. He pushed. The doors opened. Inside, the library was dim and still. Carpeted floor, tall shelves, the circulation desk, posters about reading levels and college essays. The windows were on the far wall, big, but they were already covered by old blinds and long curtains. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than the cafeteria's wide open glass. Mr. Haskins motioned us in quickly. Tyler and I shoved the doors closed. We dragged a table in front of them, then a rolling cart, then 2 chairs jammed sideways. Nina pulled Mia deeper into the room, away from the windows. Eli stood near the entrance, head angled like he was listening to the doors breathe. For a moment, we were just inside, breathing, alive. Then Mia made a sound. Small, choked. She stumbled forward a step, fingers digging into her hoodie near the shoulder. Nina caught her. "Mia? Mia, what?" Mia's face twisted. She looked like she was trying not to vomit, but it was more than that. Her eyes lifted slightly, not to the ceiling, not to the windows, just enough to make Nina tense. Mia's voice came out thin. It hurts." Mr. Haskins moved toward her, careful. "Show me." Mia shook her head hard. No, it'll..." Her hand slipped. The hoodie collar pulled aside enough for me to see the skin at the top of her shoulder. The dark spot wasn't a bruise. It was a wet-looking patch of pale tissue, fused to her skin like a second layer, veins faint beneath it. The edges feathered outward like it had grown into her. Nina's face went white. "Oh my God." Tyler whispered, "It's on her." Eli's voice came soft, almost satisfied. "It kept her." Mr. Haskins' eyes flashed. "Eli, shut up." Eli raised his hands slightly, palms open, calm. "It's true," he murmured. Mia started shaking hard. "I didn't do anything," she whispered. "I didn't look. I didn't answer. I didn't..." Mr. Haskins crouched near her, keeping his eyes down and focused on the floor between them, like he was afraid staring at the patch too long would invite something. "We're going to keep you covered," he said. "We're going to keep you with us. You're not alone." Mia's breath hitched. "It feels like something is under my skin." Nina wrapped her arms around Mia carefully, like she was afraid to touch the patch. "You're here," she whispered. "You're here." Mr. Haskins stood, face tight. He walked to the nearest shelf and put his hand on the wood, steadying himself. "We stay in the library," he said. "We block windows better. We use shelves as walls. We ration water again. We keep watch." Tyler's voice was raw. "And if she turns like Mason?" Nina snapped. "Don't say that." Mr. Haskins didn't answer right away. When he did, it was quiet. "If anyone's eyes goes oily," he said, "we treat it as danger. We do what we have to." Mia started crying, silent tears sliding down her cheeks. Nina's jaw clenched, like she wanted to fight the whole building. Eli sat down against the shelf, humming again, like none of this touched him the way it touched us. We worked fast. We pulled library curtains tighter. We used bulletin board paper and tape to cover the narrow glass panels in the doors. We pushed shelves to create a barrier zone around our mats, a little maze we could retreat into if something got in. Tyler wanted to knock over shelves to make a full wall, but Mr. Haskins stopped him. "Noise," Mr. Haskins whispered. "We do controlled moves." Tyler looked like he might explode, but he nodded and swallowed it. We settled into the library like it was a new camp, and then we noticed the first sign the tissue was already here too. Near the baseboard behind the circulation desk, a pale smear clung to the carpet edge, glossy in the dim. Mr. Haskins stared at it for a long time. He didn't say anything. He just turned away and started taping another poster over a door window, like denial could be built in layers. Time in the library felt different. The air was cooler. The light didn't flicker as sharply through the curtains. The sound of the building was muffled by carpet, which should have been comforting. Instead, it made every new sound stand out like a knife. Sometime later, we heard it. A wet sound from a wall we hadn't touched. Tyler's head snapped toward it. He stood slowly, tray in hand. Mr. Haskins whispered, "Stay." Tyler didn't listen. He moved toward the sound with careful steps, eyes down. I followed a few feet behind because leaving him alone felt worse. The sound was coming from the back corner near the encyclopedias, behind a shelf. We rounded the end. The wall there had a pale patch about the size of a handprint. It glistened. It pulsed faintly, and from it, a thin strand of tissue hung like a drip, stretching toward the carpet. Tyler whispered, "It's following." Mr. Haskins appeared behind us, yardstick ready, face drawn. "We keep distance," he said. Mia from the mats whispered, "It's in me." Nina hugged her tighter, eyes wet. Eli's humming kept going. The night came without the horn, but with the same slow building pressure, like the sky was leaning close even if we couldn't see it. We did shifts. Mr. Haskins insisted. 2 awake near the doors, 1 awake near the windows, but facing away, watching the curtains, not the outside. 1 awake near Mia, watching her face like that wasn't the cruelest assignment. I took the Mia watch for a while because Nina looked like she'd shatter if she had to do it. Mia lay on a mat, hood up, hands clenched. Her breathing was uneven. Every few minutes, her eyes flicked upward slightly, then snapped down hard like she was forcing them. "You okay?" I whispered. Mia's voice was tiny. "No." "Fair." I swallowed. "Does it do anything?" Mia hesitated. "Sometimes I feel like someone is standing behind me." I felt a cold ripple go down my spine. Mia continued, eyes locked on the carpet fibers. Not in the room, in my head, like pressure behind my eyes. "Tell Mr. Haskins," I whispered. Mia shook her head. "He already knows. He's just pretending he doesn't." That hit hard because it felt true. Around early morning, the library made a sound like a deep breath. The tissue patch behind the circulation desk expanded slightly, creeping onto carpet. The pale smear in the encyclopedia corner thickened into a slick strip. Mr. Haskins saw it and didn't speak. He just tightened our barricade. Tyler stared at the wall like he wanted to punch it. Nina barely moved, still glued to Mia's side, whispering to her, keeping her grounded. Eli finally stopped humming and said very quietly, "It's making the building compatible." Mr. Haskins' eyes lifted toward him, then dropped again. Compatible with what? Eli's mouth twitched. Withstanding. Mr. Haskins didn't ask the next question because he didn't want the answer. By midday, the library didn't feel like a library anymore. It felt like a throat. Quiet, damp, full of paper and breath. We tried a supply run anyway because we were running out of water again. Mr. Haskins didn't want to risk it, but dehydration wasn't a theory. He chose Mia and Tyler again. Nina begged to come, and he said no because Mia couldn't be left alone with Eli. Eli smiled faintly at that, which made my skin crawl. Mr. Haskins handed me 2 empty bottles and a roll of tape. "If we find any sinks with pressure," he whispered, "we fill fast and we leave. If we hear anything calling us, we don't answer. If we see tissue in the hall, we don't touch it," Tyler muttered. Mr. Haskins nodded. "We also don't brush against it. Keep space." We opened the library doors a crack and slid out into the 3rd floor hallway. The air out there was warmer. The smell of wet Band-Aid was stronger. The hallway carpet had darkened along the edges like it was damp. Tyler's jaw clenched. "It's everywhere." We moved toward the stairwell, eyes low, steps controlled. Halfway there, Tyler stopped so abruptly I almost bumped into him. He pointed. On the wall near a classroom door, a pale strip of tissue ran up like a vine, clinging to the paint. From that strip, a thin tendril hung loose, swaying slightly like it was tasting air. I froze. My mouth went dry. The tendril moved, not a twitch, a deliberate curl like a finger. Tyler whispered, "No." Mr. Haskins held up the yardstick like he could keep distance with inches of metal. "Back," he mouthed. We stepped backwards slowly. The tendril extended. It didn't lash. It reached, slow and purposeful, like a hand in a dark room looking for a doorknob. My chest tightened. I kept my eyes low and moved carefully, but the tendril kept tracking, following the movement like he could sense us without seeing. Tyler's shoe squeaked slightly as it slid on damp carpet. The tendril snapped toward the sound. Fast. It whipped out and wrapped around Tyler's ankle. Tyler's breath exploded out of him. "Oh!" He clamped his mouth shut, but it was too late. The tendril tightened like a rope being winched. Tyler stumbled, grabbed the wall with one hand. The tissue strip on the wall rippled, and another thinner tendril slid free from it, reaching for his calf. Mr. Haskins swung the yardstick down hard on the tendril at Tyler's ankle. The impact sounded wrong, not a clean smack. A wet slap with a dull internal thud, like hitting a water balloon full of sand. The tendril loosened for a fraction of a second. Tyler yanked his foot back, dragging the tendril with him. It stretched, elastic and glossy. Mr. Haskins hit it again, harder, and this time the tendril tore. It didn't snap like a rope. It ripped like wet meat. Tyler stumbled backward, almost falling. His shoe was smeared with pale, slick residue. The torn end on the wall wriggled and pulled back into the tissue strip like a tongue retracting. Tyler's breathing went fast and panicked. He pressed his hand to his mouth to keep from making sound. Mr. Haskins grabbed Tyler's sleeve and hauled him back toward the library. We moved fast, controlled fast, like trying to sprint underwater. Behind us, the tissue strip on the wall pulsed once, and then, from further down the hallway, we heard that soft tapping sound start up. Light, quick, coming closer. Mr. Haskins didn't look back. He just pushed us harder. We got into the library and shoved the doors closed. We dragged the table tighter. Tyler collapsed onto the carpet and ripped off his shoe with shaking hands. His sock was damp where the tendril had touched. A pale smear clung to the fabric. He stared at it, breathing hard, face gray. Nina rushed over, still keeping Mia behind her. What happened? Tyler swallowed, voice raw. The wall grabbed me. Mia made a tiny choking sound. Mr. Haskins walked to the rules we know paper we retaped inside the library and added one more line, hand shaking. The walls can reach. Eli sat against the shelf and watched Tyler's ankle with quiet interest. Tyler looked up at him, eyes wild. You like this, don't you? Eli's expression didn't change. I like truth, he murmured. Tyler surged forward like he might swing. Mr. Haskins stepped between them instantly, voice sharp. Stop, both of you. Tyler's chest heaved. He wiped his face with the back of his hand, smearing sweat and blood. Nina looked at Mr. Haskins with fear and anger mixed. What do we do now? Mr. Haskins stared at the floor and I saw him swallow something heavy. We survive, he whispered. We adapt. We don't let it split us. Outside the curtains, the light twitched again. A faint blink through fabric. None of us looked. We just listened to the building settle and shift, and to the soft, wet sounds of tissue moving in the walls like it was getting comfortable. And somewhere, deep in the school, something made a low, satisfied vibration, like it approved of the new shape it was becoming. Some stories end when the words stop. Others don't end at all. If you enjoyed this story, there are many more waiting in the dark. Until next time.